Hello, this is C. Marshall, and this is my review of Apotheon. This game is currently $14.99 on Steam. Metroidvanias are an interesting genre these days, often only seeming to differentiate themselves through their style, instead of their gameplay systems. A new coat of paint on a tried and consistently enjoyable experience. And I can't really criticize them for their stubborn reliance on old ideas, because it almost always works. Enter Apotheon, a game that looks almost as far back into recorded human history as possible for inspiration, and whose systems feel comparatively ancient. And calling it a Metroidvania isn't entirely accurate. Calling it an action-adventure platformer with Metroidvania elements would probably be a bit more fair, but talking on this distinction is just a waste of time. And let me just start off by saying, god damn, this game looks good. This is truly a one-of-a-kind art style. It's inspired by Grecian pottery art, and it stands out more than just about any game I have ever seen. It reminds me of those strange interlude scenes in Disney's Hercules. The way the light follows the player and highlights imperfections in the background and the stiff movement of the characters all just look like these moving paintings. It's absolutely fucking stunning. But this also locks the game down to a pretty singular design, with the only differences in levels being shifts in color, background changes, or more subtle things. Hades probably stands out the most with eerie and effective use of darkness and shadow. Besides the graphics, almost immediately you'll notice how awkward movement and combat feel. And movement never really seems natural, which is a serious problem. But combat can be mastered, and it's a must by the end. It's just really fucking floaty, like trying to steer a car with a rope. But the cumbersome combat adds to the satisfaction of its mastery in a way. The weapons are varied, and it's easy to find one to suit your style, but switching through them during a fight is always a bit difficult. I kept finding myself accidentally using items while trying to just use my sword. If you find a battle too easy though, and you're just immediately clicking with these controls, you can bump up the challenge at any time. The storyline slides along at a nice pace. It's a nice twist on that God of War story. You are attempting to climb Mount Olympus and trying to save humanity after gods abandoned them. You play as Nicandros, who is being guided by Hera to complete this goal. You meet a shit ton of mythological characters, and it's not particularly interesting, but it keeps the game moving. And move along it does, at a blazing pace. All fluff and superfluous material has been stripped in favor of a simple and elegant progression system. Its level design and flow are Metroidvania inspired, but without the collection of powers to open up new areas and frequent backtracking. It is more focused on the collection of keys and notes to find these secrets. Actual mission progress is done in a very straightforward manner, with your objectives being displayed clearly on the screen at pretty much all times, and you just follow the arrows to complete your goals. This will all be familiar. Objectives are surprisingly varied, with creative challenges sprinkled about the game's hack-and-slash routine. You'll find yourself outrunning a rising tide of hellfire, desperately attempting to bring water jugs to Daphne, or sneaking around a party of drunk satyrs attempting to destroy their wine. There are a ton of secrets littered around the world that lead you to interesting new equipment, and the equipment is found on bodies, in boxes, or in these aforementioned secret areas. Once you find a new weapon or shield, it will become available for sale on the black market, which is a feature I love because of how quickly everything breaks, and it makes finding new material feel more worthwhile and like an actual accomplishment. The only way to get new abilities, though, is by finishing main objectives, and they are all useful, but none of them are game-changing. One of them creates a permanent glow around your character, for example, and this glow is relatively bright, but nothing compared to that of a torch. Another really great design decision is how armor upgrades are managed. You slowly accrue incremental increases in armor, which change your character's appearance, but it's nice how pieces of armor aren't locked to the location in the game. Like, if you stumble upon a chest in some first level that you're looking for a secret in, and you find a piece of armor there, it will still always provide you with a tier upgrade. It's simple, quick, and doesn't alter the flow of the game, but you can purchase a few armor tier upgrades through merchants. These merchants also sell basic weaponry and crafting recipes. There are hidden merchants scattered around, a few of them. Interacting with them is done with a simple interface, no selling, only purchasing. It works though, and actually helps the game overall feel very focused and satisfying. As you race through the game, new mechanics are confidently introduced and then abandoned. You will guide a ship through a large expanse of water, similar to Wind Waker. You will solve a series of skill-based puzzles. You will be turned into a deer. All of the sections feel polished and thought out, staying just for the right amount of time and keeping the variety at an entertaining level of difficulty. Only one level actually rubbed me the wrong way, and even then the idea was really nice, it was just terrible in execution. The game is a great time. but the controls are far too loose and ultimately bring the game down. When combat is such a fundamental aspect of a game, it should be enjoyable, and not feel like such a mess. Jumping into a large battle and flailing around hoping you're the last one standing is visually wonderful but terrible in play. The platforming is slow, the sprinting feels wrong, and even though you can acclimate to them, it just shouldn't be that way. If you love these games, you'll probably love this one. And I liked it quite a bit. It's a feast for the eyes and never comes close to outstaying its welcome. Just be warned that playing the game really never gets comfortable. If you're on the fence and just generally new to this genre, you might want to look elsewhere. Thank you so much for watching.